Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Norwich Talk for another Preferred 11 video on Sunday. I think 2 or 2:30. I should really know that, shouldn't I? We play Tottenham Hotspur at their wonderful stadium. I shall not be going. Have been before. Wonderful ground. Really, really wonderful ground. Just quickly, two things. The first thing, we were meant to do a preview video and then a reaction to the Newcastle game, but I am now at the back end of a cold. Diddums, I know, and sounded like a dying cat. My voice was not, I mean, not that it ever is really, but it was really not very pleasant to listen to. And I had a skull burning headache after the Newcastle game, which I'm not even sure if that was the cold or whether it was just my brain reacting to what I witnessed. But that is why you haven't seen us for a few days. Obviously, we're doing a preview video now. There will be a reaction on Sunday as per. Fingers crossed for a good result. The other thing I want to mention as well is the Pinkin have released an app which I actually think is quite good, and it's also cheap as chips. You get it free for 2 months, and I just recommend you get it and check out Connor's stuff. Obviously, Connor, formerly of this channel, just good. It's just good stuff. Obviously, they've had issues with their website. We all know how. I mean, I don't have to pull any punches, how terrible the website is, which has prevented me from wanting to read it. But now this app has addressed that. It's pretty decent. If you like the Pinkin, it basically just makes it more accessible. So I recommend you get the app. But yeah, as per, we're going to be going over our starting lineup now. I want to give maybe two thoughts on Newcastle quickly, since we haven't on this channel. I think the reason we haven't won that game mainly is obviously because we weren't good enough, but I think Norwich were just flustered and overwhelmed by the amount of possession on the ball. We've seen this season and in Dean Smith's games so far, it's not based around maintaining possession, it's based around sort of efficiency when you have possession. With Newcastle, when you get the red card in the 9th minute against Newcastle and they park the bus, Norwich didn't look like they know what to do. I trust Dean Smith to address that and maybe form, maybe not a specific game plan, but tweak the game plan to be like, look, if we're going to have possession, let's do this. Because clearly there wasn't really a proper plan. When we had the ball until I think Janulis came on and played really well. Wonderful assist, wonderful goal. The goal was clearly good enough for an all angles video on the Norwich City YouTube channel. Wonderful finish from a wonderful footballer. Love it. Finish, if you pardon the pun. I think that's it for now in terms of Newcastle. I think we all share the same beliefs that we should have won, we could have won, but I'm not going to lie, after a solid 82 minutes of just really boring, really bland, nothing, I will absolutely take a point. Again, Norwich playing really poorly, the complete opposite to Wolves, playing really poorly and still getting a point, which is a positive. But straight in with the lineup, I'm going for, I think, two changes. I don't know. We'll find out by the end. Krul in goal. I thought it was unlucky not to save the penalty against Newcastle. I kind of reserve, I don't know what the right word is here. I reserve blame for Krul because it's a penalty, isn't it? And you don't really expect goalies to save them. He got a solid hand to it. It was just kind of unlucky. Has to play. It's just very good. You know the rest. The back line, I'm keeping the same. Aarons, Hanley, Gibson and Brandon Williams, which kind of surprises myself, really. Aarons wasn't great against, I mean, no one was great against Newcastle, which is what I'm going to keep saying. He wasn't very good on the front foot. At the very end of the game, he plays a stray pass and it summed up his game. Hanley and Gibson didn't really have much to do against Newcastle, but in the prior games, and I kind of, before Wolves, said I wasn't really happy with Gibson. I just got that wrong, all right? I'll put my hands up and say he's actually been quite decent in terms of defending. I just got that wrong. Sometimes you have just got to say you got it wrong. Hanley, again, against Newcastle, didn't really put a foot wrong to my memory. Again, they didn't have much to do, so I think it would be harsh to change it. As long as he's not got the ball at his feet for more than 5 seconds, I quite like Grant Hanley. Williams, I'm keeping in there because, and I know I literally just said, didn't I, Janulis when he came off the bench was really good, but against Tottenham, I do think they're going to have more possession, and I think Williams is a better defender than Janulis. He's really good at playing, and I think Connor said this in an article, the pantomime villain, which he did against Newcastle. He's full-blooded. He's full-blooded, Christ. He makes lots of full-blooded challenges, which I really like, and I think away from home against good opposition like Tottenham, where he'll probably be coming up against, who is it on the right? Heung-min Son, Lucas Moura, whoever. It's going to be top quality opposition, and I think he'll be up for it. And then if, say, we have more possession or if we're looking to chase the game, then bring Janulis on like we did against Newcastle. Because remember, it's a team effort. It's not just about one solidified 11. There is a squad there for a reason. In the middle, I'm going for Billy Gilmour, Lucas Rupp, PLS, Milot. Gilmour has to stay in because he wasn't particularly... Again, I keep saying it, it's going to annoy me. He wasn't great against Newcastle. I think it was his ball in, which Ida almost got to keep parried out for Janulis to then cross it in. But his passing range is just important. I'm not sure what more I can add, to be honest. And I do think he is decent when it comes to tackling. He's not the person you want to rely on, but he gives away clever fouls. And I've said this for the past 2 videos now, where he just seems to know how to slow play down, which I think Norwich need to do it more, and every player needs to chip in. But Gilmour, in terms of that respect and that part of the game, is leading the line well and doing well in terms of just sort of relieving the pressure on Norwich. Rupp in the middle, I'm not going to lie, it's because there's no one else. I don't see Jacob Sorensen being just thrown into the mix. Maybe I'd be tempted to, based on his attributes as a player and the theory of it all, and what we've seen and what we know about him. I think he'd be suited to this team, but it's not the case, is it? With Sorensen, I don't know what is going on with him. So I guess Rupp has to play. Les Milot. It's not really a slight on McLean, who I openly am very critical of. I do like McLean. He just frustrates me sometimes because when you see him play really well, you just think, why can't you do this every week? Les Milot, when he came on, his pressing is really good. His pressing should have won Norwich the game. He shouldn't miss. He should be scoring that goal, especially because he was a very fresh pair of legs as well. Well, not very. He was a fresh pair of legs. I think he came on at half time, didn't he? He should be scoring. I'm disappointed he hasn't, but at the same time, he got himself into that space, and I trust if he did it again, he would put it away. I really like Les Milot. I think he's tidy on the ball, but his pressing is very structured and very clever, whereas McLean sometimes will get caught out doing something maybe a bit... Maybe not that he shouldn't, but being a bit overzealous, if you know what I mean. In terms of the front three, I am going for Scholes, Pukki, Cantwell. Pukki has to start. Wonderful finish. Just a really good goal. It's just what I like, right? And let's not get too carried away, because I remember in the last preview video, I just went on a rant about how much I love Teemu Pukki. But the movement before striking the ball was just iconic. It was just Teemu Pukki to a T. It was measured, it was calculated. He didn't worry about being hacked in the box or anything at all. It was eyes on the ball. I'm going to do my job and absolutely leather it into the top corner. And that is why I just love him so much, and I think we all do. And again, another Pinkin plug. I'm just the Pinkins fanboy now, apparently. But Connor wrote a really nice article on why he should be considered a living Norwich City legend, which I recommend you go and read. He really is. Scholes is starting for me. Again, at the moment, it's mainly due to lack of options. Something I haven't mentioned, actually, which I know we'll all be familiar with, is the fact that Rashica is now out for December, essentially, which is a massive blow. He was really starting to pick up some momentum. I was looking forward to seeing him against Newcastle. Apparently, he was touch and go. Now, it is a longer-term injury. It's a crushing blow. Same with Norman. I think he should be back. I think Dean Smith said they're aiming to get him back for Manchester United, which will be good. They missed him so much against Newcastle, and his creative spark that he has. But Scholes is starting for me mainly because we need a winger. I'm not writing him off, let's not be silly. I don't really know what he is yet, but again, he's not had the chance to prove it. Everyone rates him highly. Let's just give him a chance. That's about as much as I've got on Christos Scholes. Todd Cantwell has to start for me, not because he's Todd Cantwell, because he's not Josh Sargent. I love Josh Sargent, right? I love his work ethic, but he does not do himself any favours in terms of the basics of football. Against Southampton, when he came on, he did the basics really well, which is what I pointed out after that game, and I really enjoyed. But his touch and his passing just lets him down far too often, which is frustrating. He's 21 years old, of course. I do believe he'll improve. I am still going to believe he will be all right for Norwich. But at the moment, it's £9 million on a striker who doesn't look like scoring, doesn't look like assisting. I mean, what's the striker supposed to do? There's a lot of debate around Teemu Pukki, and we need to provide goals because we can't just rely on him. And Sargent was maybe the intention, the intention was to maybe combat that issue with a player like Sargent, but it's not happening. I don't think it's going to happen soon. Chuck Cantwell in. Apparently, he's been training since post Newcastle. Had a COVID issue. Was in close contact. Whatever. Just get him back in there. I think Cantwell would have been very good against Newcastle because where Norwich looked to lack a bit of creativity, I think Cantwell, again, this would have required him being on the top of his game, but he would have had that creative spark, which could have been very useful. That's my 11. The last thing I want to say as well, actually, which was a positive point on the defence, is I looked it up, and in the last 3 games, Norwich have conceded 8 shots on target. In the game prior to that, which was Brentford, we conceded 7. And I think against Chelsea it's like 13, and they scored 7 goals. And I don't think it's as many against Leeds, but if you look at the last 3 games and then the 3 games before, the numbers are dramatically improved. Have dramatically improved, dramatically. I don't know. I don't care. But it's just a positive thing. Hopefully we can maintain that consistency against Spurs. And again, as Dean Smith always says, when you do that, and we won't keep a clean sheet against Spurs, but once you're restricting the shots on goal for the opposition, then you can then implement yourself from an offensive point of view and maybe focus more on that in the game. If that makes sense. I think that was a bit waffly, wasn't it? But nonetheless, that's my 11. Your thoughts, I'd love to know them. Like the video, subscribe, all that good stuff. So until next time, I'll see you again very, very soon.